Hello, my friends, and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. I told you, the big coalition collapses, and I made a video yesterday reporting on that, and I provided about 6 or 7 examples to support my statement, obviously. And I will show you the little video I made yesterday, just so you know, and if you want to find it. And now we have Business Insider reporting the same thing today. Very interesting. I don't work with them or for them. I don't want them to work for me either. Nevertheless, it's a, how should I put it? As I said many times before, it seems like it's an order. You wouldn't have found this kind of articles 2 months and a half ago, 3 months maybe at the most, right after the so-called Ukrainian counteroffensive. These articles were maybe 1 in 100, but not so aggressive. Let me show you what I'm talking about here. So this comes from Business Insider, and this is the title. Putin's plan for winning the war in Ukraine could be starting to become reality. You wouldn't have found something like this 2 months and a half, 3 months, 4 months ago. So let me show you the video I made yesterday. Right here, this is the video I made yesterday. I said it's clear the Ukraine coalition's collapsing. The West is running away. Here is the evidence, and I used about 6 or 7 articles with several examples. Poland, Germany, Great Britain, United States of America, Slovakia. All these guys are, aside from Hungary, that's been gone from the very beginning. I'm just talking about the West. I can use Erdogan a little bit here and there, and other European countries that will run away because they can't make it. They can't do it. Winter is coming as well. So let's see what these guys in the Business Insider have to say about Putin supposedly winning, maybe. So, analysis. Vladimir Putin has long bet that Western support for Ukraine would begin to weaken. And I will show you a lie coming from, or maybe not a lie, but a contradictory poll. These guys are going to say, claim something, and I will come with another poll that actually is going to challenge whatever this poll they use, the outcome. So the US Congress is in turmoil over GOP opposition to Ukraine aid, but public support in the West continues to be strong. That's what I'm going to challenge. And I'm going to challenge with evidence, not just because I don't like what they say. So, as the right wing of GOP tipped Congress into chaos over its opposition in committing more money to Ukraine, the Kremlin took a victory lap. It's not only that, as I mentioned, that's Germany is not going to send the Taurus missiles. Great Britain said it's not going to send any more challenged 2 tanks, or Challenger if you want, but for me it's challenged. And they will not send any more aid they don't have, they said, military aid. Slovakia will not send it with a new prime minister. Poland said, we're not going to provide any more money, support for the Ukrainian refugees in 2024, so that's in a few months. We're not going to send more weapons to Ukraine because we ran out of them, Poland said. So all these guys gave a clear message they're not going to do anything about it. So Dmitry Peskov, the Kremlin spokesman, said that turmoil was a sign of things to come. The Western support for Ukraine will begin to collapse. So it says here, analysts have long deduced that this is a crucial part of President Vladimir Putin's plan to stay in the fight so long that the West gets tired of helping Ukraine. Well, you can stay as much as you can if you don't have the ability. I mean, I would like to stay, let's say, with Tyson 12 rounds or 15 rounds. I don't think I could be able to stay. You know what I mean? So you can have your plan to stay 12 rounds or 15 rounds, but what if the guy knocks you out in the first minute or first seconds or first round? And also, that's again, and I'm quoting here, fatigue over this conflict, fatigue from the completely absurd sponsorship of the Kiev regime will grow in various countries, including the US, predicted Peskov. Well, I predicted this in last year, 2022, in March, and when I realized that NATO got into Ukraine full force, because I projected that the thing in Ukraine would not last more than 2, maybe 3 weeks, 2 weeks, 3 weeks. if it would be Russia against Ukraine. And that's what I think it occurred. Why? Because if you remember, in the first 3 weeks, so from February 24th to March something, I don't know, 15, whatever it was, 13, 12, so 16, so about 3 weeks, the Ukrainians met the Russians 5 times to negotiate. And the last one was, if you remember, in Turkey. And they agreed at certain things to stop and so on. And based on that, the Russians withdrew from Kiev. Remember, they got to Kiev and were waiting for orders. And the Ukraine said, yeah, we're going to do it. Okay. So the guys reportedly, that's what they said, the Russians, they retreated from Kiev and said, okay, remember, Boris Johnson landed next day after the Ukrainian envoy or whatever negotiating team came from Turkey. They showed up and they said, you know what, time's up, my man, we're not going to do it. So they negotiated. They were about to negotiate after 2 or 3 weeks. There were 5 rounds of contacts. One was in Minsk, if you remember, between the Ukrainians and the Russians. And then NATO came and said, you stay here. And everything changed. So, yeah, would have been done quickly, but nevertheless, from the Russian perspective. So let's go back here. I'm not going to read whatever they say about the Pentagon. They tell us what happened with European. Now we're going to go to the Putin's bet. I think it's just an assessment, not a bet right here. According to analysts, Putin has long bet on Western support for Ukraine weakening. Yes, if you can withstand it. If those guys give too many weapons to Ukraine, they're going to destroy you. So you can have a plan how long you want, but you still have nuclear weapons, so they couldn't lose. But these guys kept saying, we're going to go until Russia loses. Loses what? You can't lose unless you get rid of about 300 people in charge of Russia. Or, the elites or people are really in charge. And even though you're going to have a few generals that will run to their nuclear weapons and say, get the out, otherwise we're going to release this. They don't have to hit targets. They don't have to do that. That's the problem. The Russians do not have, with their arsenal, they do not pinpoint and hit targets. If they want, they say, bye-bye, we're going to detonate everything on our territory, as they are, and you die. They don't have to launch. They say, well, we're going to... If they're really crazy, as these guys claim they are, they say, you know what? Blackmail. What do you think the West will do? Will collapse. And we say, yes, sir, let's talk. Because these guys have more to lose than the Russians as humans. Why? Because these guys have, imagine they're talking to Putin. Putin is a self-made man. And all the guys over there in charge of Russia, Shoigu, Lavrov, Peskov, these guys were commoners. Now, these guys, what do you have to lose? Something that they acquired. Okay, the other ones here in the West, they have families. They have family coat. On the wall, they have paintings with their ancestors. Their children go to Harvard. They're ready to go and be the leaders of this planet. Do you think those guys want to lose this? Their generations fought for this. These guys are just, you know what? I came from garbage. I don't really care, man. I'm already 70 off. But the other guys, look at the next generation, future. These guys have more to lose. That's why they will never agree. Yeah, okay, blow yourselves, guys. Over there, we're all gonna go and see Jesus and see who was right and who was wrong. They will not do that. So let me show you here the bet. According to analysts, yes. Okay, Russian Defense Minister Sergei Shoigu has projected that the conflict could last until 2025, the year after the US presidential election. Russia seems committed for the long haul. And then we go down here. And this is something that it's, I would say, a big stretch. The majority, now I'm going to show you the date. I think it's from today. The majority of Americans, remember, majority is 51% at least. Around 6 in 10, that's 60%. Still back aid to Ukraine, though support is falling among Republicans. So they are the bad dudes. According to a new poll by Chicago Council of Global Affairs. So this says, remember, 6 out of 10. What's the articles? What's the date? Let's see. And then I'm going to go to that little poll. This is from today, October 5. Okay. So let's try to go to the poll. Let's see what they say, because I have another poll ready and up for you. Let's see if they're going to show me anything. But in the meantime, let's go to this. US public support declines for arming Ukraine, Reuters, Ipsos. Oh, the same day, October 5. Okay, the same thing those guys said, but those guys said 6 out of 10 are still supporting it. Well, these guys say no. The two-day poll, which closed on Wednesday, yesterday, showed only 41% of respondents agreed with a statement that Washington should provide weapons to Ukraine. That's 4 in 10, not 6 in 10, compared to 35% who disagreed and the rest unsure. So, got it? And even here in May, right here, the poll showed 46. That's what? 4.6 out of 10, not 6 out of 10 backing sending arms. Now you can say, well, it's sending arms is not supporting Ukraine. Well, yeah, okay, we can tangle this right here. Still back aid to Ukraine. Okay, so I think I'm okay with saying that sending weapons, right? Aid. Only 41%. Let's see what do we find here. They give me key findings. So when is this poll coming from? Right. October 4th. Okay, so it says 6 in 10 continue to support providing economic aid and sending additional arms and military supplies to Ukrainian government. Down slightly from a year ago. Slightly from a year ago. These guys here, what did they say? They said 46 in May. So anyway, and they say, where's the... A narrow majority of Americans say that the in weapons, equipment, and training that the United States has provided to Ukraine has been worth the cost. That it's passed. Majority of Americans continue to support providing economic assistance, 61%, and sending additional arms and military supplies to Ukrainian government, 63. So 63 are good to go with military and financial. Down slightly from a year ago. About half of Republicans agree. So, slim majority supports sending F-16s. Ukraine still reclaims all its territory, blah, blah, blah. So, all right. Again here, slim majority says U.S. money spent to aid Ukraine has been worth the cost. Well, I'm not tangling in that or lingering in that garbage. I'm more interested in this. Yes, I think this guy, if he doesn't collapse with his buddies, they will get their 4 points, the reasons why. Oh, it was unprovoked, my bad. The 4 reasons why Russia said, or 4 points they need to accomplish with this special military campaign. Not a war, because there would be about 30 million Russians fighting, not below 1 million. Okay, that's why they don't call it a war. They call it a special military operation. That means they're doing something else, and with this little pinky they fight with Ukraine and the NATO. And they're not losing. Why? They're waiting for these guys to destroy our future, our children's futures. Why? Give those guys money, have and to be honest, $100 billion is not going to get United States dry. It's not going to have the economy collapse. All right, let's put it this way. But those $100 billion that they already gave over there in weapons and aid and so on could have been used here for school, hospitals, roads, and many other things. But instead, sent over there. And you destroyed, instead of being focused on the economic, how should I put it, reforms, no, you're focused on sending over there. And then why? Because you're going to blame those guys. Oh, your life sucks because of those guys over there. No, I do not subscribe to that garbage. The evidence doesn't support that. Those $100 billion that you sent over there is not making a dent in the trillion of the trillion of the trillion of the trillion deficits these guys have here. So it's not going. I'm just exaggerating, obviously. Just want to make it 100 billion. Psst, okay, thank you. A year and a half almost. No, but you can believe that I will not, based on evidence. Thank you very much for numbers. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.